2016. Her philanthropic efforts extend to the Wellington Angel House in Africa, and she has also opened the Well Foundation, a nonprofit organization to give back to communities in need. Her biggest fulfillment comes from inspiring and motivating, which she does through mediums such as the Morning Wake Up and Win Call, encouraging listeners 5 days a week, as well as powerful training sessions and life coaching events. Coach Stormy understands that her mindset is what makes her powerful. Everyone that comes in contact with her is challenged to adjust their mentality, to know who they are, and be their best self. She won't accept anything less than great in her space. And when you can affect people like that, you can't be stopped. Good morning, Stormy. Are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Awesome. How are you?
I'm awesome. Welcome. This is such an honor to have this trailblazer and phenomenal woman of God who is just blazing the trail for others to follow. We want to say welcome to the Good Success Show on the Bishop Victor T. Good Morning Show.
Thank you so much for having me. It's a pleasure. I was just speaking to the young lady prior to you bringing me on, and I was asking how's Bishop doing, and I could think about, going to church as a child, and so I wanted to check on him. So it's definitely an honor to be on the line today with such a powerful ministry and just you as well.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for having us. And I know Bishop is so excited also for you to be a part of our show. Well, I wanted to ask you, because you're from the 305 area, and there's so many people that may not know your story or who you are, because I know that we can tap into so many other things. And so could you give our listening audience just a brief summary of who is Stormy Wellington?
Well, first of all, of course, I have to start off with I'm a child of God, like all of us, right?
Mm-hmm.
From right there, from Miami, Florida, from Carroll City.
All right now.
To be exact. And I went to New Orleans Senior High School, ended up, having my first child at the age of 16, which caused me to have to drop out of school to be able to provide for my son. It wasn't something that I planned to do, but of course we know that things happen. After I dropped out of high school, I ended up doing things that, obviously, people wouldn't want to celebrate, but it was my journey. I ended up working at one point in my life at Rolex down the street from the church, right? And I remember those days like it was yesterday. And in those days, is where I learned a lot about, character building, how to be a fighter, how to provide, and how to just have that relentless, resilient mentality. And so I ended up resigning from that career, moving on, I could say, to doing other things. And back in 2008, I uprooted my family, and we all moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where I was told that, Atlanta was the black mecca where African-American people, they just don't survive there, but there's an opportunity for you to thrive. And so I had 3 boutiques prior to doing that, and I ended up closing down my boutiques, moving to Atlanta, Georgia, and that is where I must say the upswing began. A lot of people, know that in life is about enduring, the valleys, but understanding that the peaks are coming. And so I went through the valley at first when I moved to Atlanta, Georgia, but end up meeting some amazing people. I'm one of those individuals that truly believe that, your next level in life is based upon who you're walking with and who you're connected to. And so I like to meet new people. I'm very explorative, shall I say. I like to meet new people and try new things. And did real estate for quite some time and ended up doing pretty decent in that profession. But I ended up getting started right at the end. It seems like everything I touched was turning to dust. And so I went to Atlanta and did real estate and looked up, and things were great, and those things started to fail. And I ended up getting involved in the industry of direct sales and multi-level marketing, and that's where everything really began for me. That's where I must say I truly had my first vision, and not just vision, but I had my first opportunity to have true success that made me feel as if everything that I had experienced through my teenage years was preparing me for what I did in 2009, where I became a millionaire in the direct sales industry and the multi-level marketing industry. And so that began a whole new journey for me.
Hello, Stormy. It's LaShannon. Welcome to the call. So, my question for you is, I want to back up to your story.
And excuse my voice. I don't know. Am I clear?
No, yeah, we hear you really well on this end. I wanted to ask you, how did you transition? What mindset did you have to move from working at the Rolex to owning the boutique? Because a lot of times we stay, people are in a dark place and they don't know how to get out of that place. So what did you do? What were the steps? Or how did your mentality have to change to say, I don't want to be in this position anymore. I want something better for myself. What did you have to do?
So we really could kind of go back because I forgot a few points. I used to be a TSA agent, and it's one of those things where you have to believe that you deserve better. A lot of people settle for whatever is given to them, and they accept it and they take it as their destiny, And for me, every door that opened, that was my door, and that I walked through, it's like after a while,
that was my door. That's really good. Because every door,
that was my door. I felt like I deserved more, and so from Rolex to TSA, it's like I just believe that I deserve better. Like I'm not supposed to be in the club taking off my clothes and doing this for money. There's something else out there for me that I have to just identify. I have to identify what is it that God has for me. And so I'm a big risk taker. I believe that, successful people, they know how to take calculated risk. And I also believe that successful people know how to think not just with their mind, but I believe that successful people also know how to think with their hearts. And they use their intuition and their discernment, and they allow those things to guide them. And that's when, as I said before, I was led to move to Atlanta. So it started with me just believing that I deserve better. I deserve more than what I currently have.
Good stuff. Wow, good stuff. And you have your Wake Up and Win call, and it is just phenomenal. And even when you step into the room, you have this sense of authority and power that, hey, you don't have to say it, but you say, okay, Stormy is here. And you have that, and as soon as I've been in the room a few times with you, and once you enter the room, the energy just shifts. How important is it to set your intentions or to make affirmations to start your day?
So affirmations are everything. It's one of those things where the words that you speak become self-fulfilling prophecy. A lot of people want a prophet to prophesy to them, and I've had my experiences with prophets. I learned within those experiences that I could prophesy to myself, because whatever I speak over my life, whatever I speak about myself, whatever I believe is right. And so, I remember being in a place of my life where I used to hear voices in my head telling me I'll never amount to nothing. My first time having success was luck. You're nothing but a high school dropout. So I had to replace all of those negative chatters that I was having with myself with positive words of affirmation. So I speak actually affirmations every day. I try to jump on a trampoline every day, because I know that when you jump, you just can't be mad, miserable, sad, and it sends endorphins to your brain. So either I jump on a trampoline or I jump in place, but every day I speak the things that I want. And as I spoke the things, I continue to speak the things that I want, they start coming to me. I'm a money magnet, I'm a walking vault. That's who I am. So I speak every day over my life.
So what I like, the first steps, like some of those who are listening, because one thing we know, we don't know who's listening, but we know as a vast majority of our listeners out there that wants to begin up their own movement, wants to start their own business, but they're afraid that because they had a child at a young age, because maybe they didn't have their parents in the home, what advice can you give them to say, this is where you should start from?
I mean, I didn't have my parents. My mom was a single parent. She was a hustler, illegal hustler, and that caused her to never be home. So I think that a lot of people, they kind of buy into their past and they make that an excuse.
Right.
And the more you speak and believe the things that you've experienced, and the more you kind of buy into your past, the more it stagnates you. and it cripples you. And so you have to begin to see yourself different. It doesn't matter where you start, it's how you finish. But for me, it started with me believing that I deserve more than what I currently have, and not being afraid to fail. It's kind of like, baby, what if you lose? What if, like, baby, what if I win? Right. And so I just feel like, I want my life to have a meaning. I believe that, troubles, come for you to overcome them. It's the test to become your testimony. Each and every one of us, I believe, were designed and born to solve somebody's problem. Mm-hmm. And so if you want to open up a business or do something in terms of business, you got to find that business that you're passionate about, something that you could do and would do if you did it for free. And then you got to believe in it beyond your family, beyond your friends, because absolutely, I can tell you right now, your family, your friends will be the last to support you. They don't believe it until they see you until you get results. So just take the risk. I mean, you only live once. I mean, you got one life to live. Go ahead and take a chance, honey.
What I admire, one thing about you, you have a campaign and you're saying that you want to help 1,000 families to make 6 figures. So that statement right there tells me that it's not about just Stormy Wellington and her family. You want to get as many people on board as possible to help. Was there something that shifted your mindset to say, you know what, I've gotten a level of success, and now I need to help other people?
Yeah, so I read this book, and this is before the book, but I realized that most people who have temporary success, or they are a public success and a private failure, are people that are selfish. They do everything for me. But there's no fulfillment like the fulfillment you get from helping somebody else. Like, I do my morning inspirational call, and yes, we have hundreds of listeners. I mean, we average between 500 to 1,000 people between Facebook and just the phone. I mean, literally within an hour, we have 10,000 views on video. So I just believe that you don't feel fulfilled until you're in alignment with your assignment and you're helping other people. So it's easy for an individual to selfishly go out there and make money. But you start to realize that the money isn't everything. You need money, absolutely. I would never be broke another day in my life, absolutely. So money is necessary to live the way I want to live, to drive the way I want to drive, to take care of my family, and to do the things that I do. But it feels better when you're serving, supporting, and helping other people. So I'm not going to say you said something, and Lucretia, I'm not going to try to help 1,000 families. It's already done. I'm going to help. I'm going to do it. If it takes my last breath, I'm going to do it. And so I do it because I want to do what our Father wants us to do. You're supposed to help other people solve problems. Your life is a solution to somebody's problem. It may not be on Stormy Wellington's level, right? But your life is a solution to somebody's problem. And when you get that part, then amazing things start to happen. So that's why I'm so serious about, helping other people, because of the feeling and the security and doing my business, what I'm supposed to do, my Father's business, which is help other people.
Stormy, how important is faith and your spirituality in your work, in your line of business? Because you are successful, but you're living and breathing, you're talking like a faith-filled woman. So how important is that in your success?
Oh, it's everything. You cannot be successful if you don't have faith. Because faith means that you're going in spite of. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the other things, evidence of things not seen. That means you don't know. Listen, when you wake up in the morning, you get in your car, and you drive to work, you don't know if you're going to make it to work, but you drive to work in faith that the car is going to take you there, and that when you get to work, there's going to be a job. Everything we do in faith. We just don't recognize that as faith. So why can you wake up and get in a car and do that in faith? Why can you get up and get on a plane in faith, but don't allow faith to show up in other areas of your life? And so for me, I mean, there's moments where I don't feel like it. I mean, there's moments where I just want to cry, quit, and say, forget all of this stuff. But I move in faith knowing that because I trust in God and because God has plans and purpose for my life, I got to move in spite of the feeling. And so faith is everything. I mean, faith is just being willing to take a risk, but taking a risk in God, taking a risk in Christ. So absolutely, it is everything to me, and I hope it's everything to you.
Good stuff. Can you tell us about some of the books that you have? I see that you're an author.
Yes, I have a book called The Quiet Storm. It's a memoir of my life that talks about just my journey from being a dancer to dropping out of high school to becoming a millionaire before the age of 30 with the high school education as a ninth grade dropout. I did go back to get my GED.
Okay.
That's one book. I have a book called The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Recruitment that is really about relationship building. You know, everybody who owns a business or is aspiring to be a business owner, they need to understand just laws of what it takes to build relationships, because everybody who is in business, it's about a relationship, period. And when you get that part, you know, amazing things happen. Then I have another book that's not released yet, but it's called He Wants to Be She. Men who are intimidated by women who love them. That's coming out sometime this year, not sure when. And you know what? I'm actually working on a book right now called The Game as We Know It, and it's going to be a book about people from Miami who made it, I mean, from the streets to the suites, people who made it. So I got a lot of projects that I'm working on, but right now The Quiet Storm is my favorite book. It just talks about, really, it's inspiring because it shares with you that if I could come from foster care and being molested and abandoned and abused and alone and had to fight from the age of 9 years old, if I could fight as a woman out here and overcome against all odds, right, then you can too.
This is just good stuff, man. Stormy, I'm always so amazed to listen to you and hear your words of wisdom, because you didn't have a cookie cutter beginning, but you did not allow your excuses to, or what you did not allow your past to hold you back from becoming who you are today. I see that you have the Wellington Angel House and the Well Foundation. Could you tell us about that?
So the Well Foundation is a foundation, and we have not put everything together yet, but the foundation is already approved. We're just working on the board and all that stuff. Because, you know, my mom was a single parent, and even me, I'm a single parent. I have 3 children, right? And I found out, you know, from my own experience that I remember working a job, you know, making $13 an hour. And I'm working, I'm trying, I'm doing all the things that I'm supposed to do, but I had more month than money. So I'm working. It's not that I'm not working, but my bills are $2,500 a month, and I'm only making $2,000 a month. And so the extra $500 for the bills to keep the lights on and keep the water on has to come from somewhere. And so either you do stuff that you don't have no business, you make payment arrangements, you pawn stuff, you borrow money and live in faith, hoping that somebody in some way the bill is going to get paid. But the Well Foundation, what we're going to do is for 90 days, we're going to pay the deficit of your bill so you can free up some time. But the time that we're paying those bills is designed for you to pick up a skill, something. That I had. It's so amazing because a mantra is kind of like what you want to become in terms of like character wise. And I came up with this mantra back in 2008, and I came up with it because everything I was not is what I began to speak. And so I saw a video the other day, and I was laughing because I looked like one little kid because I had been speaking this. It's 2017. I came up with it in 2008, so I'll speak it to you. And if you pay attention to what I'm saying, you know, the listeners and you guys could create it on your own. And here's the thing. Everything that I'm speaking now, I spoke then, I am it now. And everything that I was not is what I created in those words. So I am determined, dynamic, persistent, ambitious, and faithful. a beautiful, sophisticated professional called to be a loving, world-renowned motivator. My name is Stormy Wellington. Now I'm a sophisticated professional, I'm ambitious, and I'm faithful, and I am a loving, world-renowned motivator. I travel the world, I do events, I have translators that translate my words. I have people wanting me to do the Wake Up and Win call and allow them to translate it in Russian and Spanish and Creole. So that's one. But this is the one that transformed my life, and thousands on top of thousands of people speak this every day. We speak it every Monday through Friday at the end of our call, and it's I will hear the voice of the Holy Spirit within. I will lead and not follow. I will create and not destroy. I am a force for good. I defy the odds. I set new standards. I am the head and not the tail. I am above and not beneath. I am the lender and not the borrower. I am loved by God. I am chosen by God. I am protected by God. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. No weapon formed against me shall prosper. And every tongue that rises up against me in judgment shall be condemned. It's my season. It's my turn. It's my season. It's my turn. I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm humble. I'm wealthy. I'm strong. I am a champion. And I, Stormy Nicole Wellington, will never be broke another day in my life. And I will live the fullness of life in all God has for me.
All right.
Oh, yes. Wake up and win, our listeners. And also, Stormy, could you let us know how we can, tell us your
website,
social media, how people can get, how they can get in contact with you?
Yes. On Instagram, I'm Coach Stormy on Instagram. My website is stormywellington.com. Again, Instagram, Coach Stormy, and that's Coach spelled Stormy, Stormy. And you can, of course, find me at my website, stormywellington.com. StormyWellington.
And we can get your T-shirts and everything from that website as well?
Yes, ma'am. You could even get the affirmations that I just spoke. We have laminated affirmation cards that we encourage you to speak them. They're life-changing, and that's what it's about. It's about helping each other, uplifting each other, loving each other, supporting each other, because all of us, we have the same challenges and the same goals. We're just living in them and learning how to deal with them. But we all want the same thing, to be loved, to be free, and to have peace, right?
Yes. Yes, we want to thank you again so much. I know you have an extremely busy schedule, but I really appreciate you taking this time out to speak to our listeners and to the host here and on the Good Success segment. And we want to wish you all the best and continue. I know I don't have to tell you don't stop, but continue to blaze the trail, make a difference, and change lives. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me. And tell Bishop, I remember when he was in Northwestern Senior High School, happy that he's doing better, and definitely praying for him to be 1,000% and ready to go back. So thank you so much for having me, ladies. I appreciate you both.
Thank you both.
Thank you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.